Hey everyone, welcome back to the Budget Sportsman. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. My family is spending some time down in Florida for some work projects, and while we're here, we're going to bring you a series of video from Central Florida. Today, the family is with me, and we are out here exploring the Ocala National Forest. We're going to be running some trail cameras and doing some trail camera checks today, which you're going to see in another video. We're going to be just exploring some different lakes and cool areas, and then tonight we're planning to go ahead and spend the night out here doing a little camping and just have a one-night overnight trip. We're going to be testing some new gear and kind of do some experimenting with backpacking. We're not going to be backpacking, but we're going to kind of experiment with some of the gear we might use for backpacking for some future trips. So stick with us. I hope you enjoy the adventures that we have down here in Florida, and specifically today in the Ocala National Forest. Well, the first stop for today is this lake behind me called Lake Mary, and we came out here to check it out. It's not where we're planning to stay the night tonight, but you can stay here. It's kind of dispersed camping. It's not a dedicated campground necessarily, but you're allowed to camp here. Actually was surprised for a middle of the day on a Monday. There's actually some people already back here, a couple of vans parked here, a couple of tents set up. If you could get back in here with a kayak or even a small boat, there's places where you could probably get the boat in the water. This would be a beautiful lake just to come back here and spend some time. We don't have the budget boat with us down here in Florida, unfortunately. Long way to haul that, but sure would be fun to put the budget boat in a lake like this and putter around, do some fishing back here. It probably doesn't get a whole lot of fishing pressure. One of the things I love about driving around out here in the forest is the roads are super clayey, and a lot of places very sandy, really. And it's super easy just as you're driving along to kind of pick out some fresh animal tracks. And today just came across the first set of really fresh tracks, just found some deer tracks, and I'll keep you updated as we drive and what other kind of animal tracks we see. Well, I told you I was going to update you if I found more tracks. We just pulled off the side of the road, and right here is coyote tracks in the fresh sand as well. We made it up here to a place where about 11 days ago we dropped off a trail camera, kind of at random, hiked into the forest here, found a spot, dropped off a trail camera. So we're going to hike in now and check that trail camera. I'm super excited to see what's on it. I'll give you a little sneak preview here, but if you want to see the full video of what we where we dropped off the camera and what we got on it, that's going to be coming to the channel in the future. So let's go in and check the camera. Well, the good news is I see the cameras. Doesn't look like anybody's messed with them. I don't see any boot tracks or anything. Bad news is I don't see the number of deer tracks we saw back here when we left them. So here we are. It is the moment of truth. There are my two cameras. And we brought the laptop and lunch with us. So we're just gonna sit down, have a picnic lunch, and see what we got on the cameras. Well, there's 282 pictures and videos. Hopefully we got something good. Let's get them on the computer and see what we got. You want to talk about a disappointment? I mean, like a major disappointment. We just checked the cameras and had basically nothing. The one camera malfunctioned and basically just started taking nonstop videos until it filled up the card of nothing except a rabbit that happened to wander through. And the cell cam, I thought, well, maybe it has pictures on it even though it wasn't sending them. And it did have a few, but some of them were blank, and there was one raccoon, and that was it. So we thought we were in a good spot. We thought we were gonna get some good pictures, videos, whatever, and total bust. We had a good lunch. So now I think we're gonna hike back to the car. Hopefully Grace is gonna take a nap, and we're gonna go on to the next spot we wanna explore today. Well, y'all, if you've been watching The Budget Sportsman for a while, especially our family adventures, and you probably know that we tend to wing it and have some change of plans. We just came over here after that disappointing trail camera check to the Juniper Springs campground, I think it's called. And it's supposed to be $10 a night to stay here. That's what we were gonna do. We drove back in there and it wasn't completely full, but there was a lot of people back there and the campsites were pretty close together. We were really hoping for some more privacy tonight. So we kind of talked it over. I told you at the beginning of this video that we were planning to do it with sort of backpacking gear, but we were gonna be by the car. Well, that just turned into a backpacking trip. Right over there, we've got all of our backpacks loaded up. We had them with us. We had everything kind of stashed in there to see how it was gonna go. So we just kind of reorganized. Got the car locked up. We're gonna leave it here in this parking area, and right over here is an access point to the Florida Trail. The Florida Trail is a trail that runs, I'm not sure the number, it's probably 1,000, 2,000 miles, all the way from down southern Florida, all the way up and around the Panhandle. So we're gonna go out on the Florida Trail. We're gonna hike, I don't know, not very far because we have Grace, but we're gonna go out. We're gonna try to do some dispersed camping where we can be all alone for the evening. So stick with us and see how this change of plans pans out.
How much hiking are you gonna do?
Mama Sportsman has it rough. I think I've got the heavier pack maybe, but her sleeping bag that she brought is not a backpacking sleeping bag. And so we've got it in the overload shelf of the Mystery Ranch bag she has there. But she also gets to carry the little grumpy one who doesn't want Daddy to hold her right now. So maybe later on I'll get the...
Actually, this is some good balance.
It balances out the bag from front to back. Well, let's go get on the trail.
What do you think? You think this is a good campsite? I like it, honey. It's perfect.
Well, y'all, our plan was to hike in here maybe a half mile. And I think we're closer to 2, definitely over 1.5 miles in here. I tracked it on base map. It says 1.75, but I actually walked ahead to go check out for a spot and then walk back to get them, but it's definitely over 1.5 miles. Hannah carried Grace a lot of the way. Grace walked a very little bit of the way, but I think we got a nice little spot here. Somebody else has had a fire before, so that makes me feel better about this particular spot. I think it's a good spot. Got this thing is called Juniper Prairie all behind us. Beautiful over here. Kind of got a little swampy thing, pond over here. I think it's a pretty nice little spot. I think it's gonna be beautiful in the morning. And this is home for tonight. We'll make some supper, set up our tent, and just hang out. Hey y'all, we got our camp set up now, and if you think you have to have expensive gear to go backpacking, you're wrong. This tent is a $25 3-person tent from Ozark Trail at Walmart. Now, is it ideal for backpacking? Not really. It weighs about 5.5 to 6 pounds. It's fairly heavy, but hey, we got it out here, and we got a 2-year-old that wasn't able to carry any of her own weight out here. What I'm doing tonight is I'm testing some gear I've never used before. I'm using this sleeping pad, which is from Unigear. Got this for Christmas this year, and then shortly after Christmas, I picked up my first ever down sleeping bag. And this is from a company called Wide Sea. It came from AliExpress, and in my mind, it's not the cheapest thing in the world, but when it comes to down sleeping bags, this is a very budget bag. It's supposed to be rated to down to close to 40 degrees. Tonight's probably going to only be down to 60, so this is going to be a great first test, just in case these Chinese ratings are way off. But I don't think it's going to be any problem at 60 degrees tonight. So I'm excited to check out this gear. Hannah's, just like I mentioned earlier, has got just a regular old, big old, I think, Coleman sleeping bag. She's got an old self-inflating pad I've had around for years. And Grace has got the sleeping bag that she got for Christmas, which is also a Coleman. Can you bring that to Daddy?
There's only for you, and that one is for me. Pine cone.
Yeah, throw a pine cone in there. Well, we debated about whether or not we were going to build a fire because there's so many dry pine needles here. We just don't want to have any trouble, but we decided to go ahead and use our toilet tool and go ahead and dig a hole in the soft sand. So we're going to just try to keep a really small fire here. We got sand all around, so keep a close eye on it. Make sure we put it out completely before we go to bed. But it's just going to be nice to have a bit of light and just sit around and watch the fire since there's nothing else to do, right, Grace?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll just keep it nice and small and enjoy the fire. It's almost 6 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and make supper. And tonight's supper is the Knorr, a lot of times I hear them called the rice sides, but I found some of these Knorr Italian sides I decided to try. These are creamy garlic shells, pasta shells, and creamy garlic flavored sauce. And I'm going to do those in boiling water on the soda can stove. And then to add a little something to it, we got this pack of Tyson premium chicken white, or chunk white chicken. This is a little heavy, it's got a lot of water in it, but hey, we were just coming out for one night and we wanted to add some chicken to it. Of course you can get this in a can too, but that's even heavier. So we're going to go ahead and add the chicken to our noodles. Again, we got our really cheap Amazon camping stove and our fuel here, and then each one of us has one of these collapsible bowls that we're going to be using to eat out of. And the nice thing is about these is that they actually double as a measuring cup. So I need to measure up 2 cups of water, and I can measure it out in here and start boiling my water for our dinner. Now, one thing I failed to realize when I picked up these Knorr Italian sides is that they take water and milk rather than just water like the Knorr rice packs. So these are not going to be exactly creamy noodles, they're just going to be noodles with chicken. But we're ready to eat. Let's thank the Lord for our food. Lord, thank you that we can come out here. Thank you for guiding us to a nice camping spot. Lord, I pray that you would give us safety as we're out here. You would give us a relaxing time as a family. Please bless this food to our bodies. Thank you for the beauty of your creation. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, everyone, we had supper. We got our food hung up in a tree away from camp. Got Grace to bed. We tried to take star pictures, which were a total fail because the clouds rolled back just long enough to take a few pictures, and then by the time we started to get dialed in, clouds rolled in again. So we're going to just hang out for a few more minutes and then go to bed, and we'll see you in the morning. Good morning, everyone. It's about 6:45 in the morning. Just starting to get light, and as you can see, it's kind of misty. The tent is kind of wet on the outside, a little bit of condensation on the inside. But overall, I think we all did okay. We slept okay. Mama and Grace are still here. How about if I do this? Mama and Grace are still in the tent. I think Grace is sleeping. I think Mama's just resting. And you know, for myself, I normally wake up stiff when I sleep in my own bed, and so I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of stiff this morning, so I'm just gonna kind of walk it off, walk over here to get our food bag out of the tree. But overall, this was a pretty good experience so far. It was our first backpacking trip as a family, and it was kind of a spontaneous thing, so I'm happy the way it's working out. Looks like it's gonna be a foggy morning out over the swamp or the prairie or whatever it is they call it here. So I'm gonna probably try to get a fire going. It's not really that cold. It's probably 65 degrees, but I think it'll just be nice to have a little fire this morning. We got some hot chocolate with us, so once we get the food bag out of the tree, we'll get some water boiling and make some hot chocolate.
Good morning.
Did you have a good night in the tent? Did you sleep so good? What about Mama?
I think part of it's stiffness from carrying a backpack.
Yeah, that could be too.
And you.
Don't sell yourself short, Mama. It was closer to 2 miles than it was to 1 mile.
And you, little goofy.
And mine little.
Look at Daddy has a fire.
I'm not sure how good it's going to be. Everything's wet.
Are you gonna have some hot chocolate?
Okay. See,
That's a big cup of hot chocolate.
Well, everyone, we got camp packed up. It's about 8:40 now, and it's time to hike back. Hopefully, Grace will have energy to do more walking on her own today. We're going to head back towards civilization. We're almost back to the car. Got maybe another 1/4 mile or 3/10 mile to go. But sure has been a fun adventure. Hopefully just in that last montage you saw a little bit of that squirrel action. Maybe it's simple things in life, but I sure enjoy watching the critters. And for me, filming it makes me feel like I'm kind of freezing that moment in time and getting to know that I'm doing more than just watching it for a second. I do have to be careful to make sure I enjoy it in the moment as well. On my way out, I just thought I would share with you a little about this device here. If you've seen it, if you're not familiar with it, it's called a Garmin InReach. It is a satellite communicator, and I have to pay a subscription for it. I think it's about $12 a month if you're on the annual plan, but it means that I can text anyone, anywhere in the world, from anywhere in the world, whether or not I have cell phone signal. So I had told someone that they would know where we were, that we were going to be at this campground. And then we changed plans. We got out there to where we camped last night with no cell phone signal. And I was able to go ahead and text them to let them know where I was, so that if there's any kind of an emergency, somebody actually knew where we were. So anyways, it's a pretty handy little device if you spend a lot of time in the outdoors, especially in areas with no cell phone signal. Just a little bit of extra peace of mind. If you're interested, I'll leave a link down in the description for the Garmin InReach. This is the mini. They got a couple different versions, so go check it out.
See, we're almost there, we're almost there, we're almost there.
We made it! Well, 2 of us made it. Grace, we're back! We made it back! See, we're back to the road. The car is just right down there. Let's go. Well, we made it back to the car. I know for a lot of serious backpackers, a 1.7 mile trip in and a 1.7 mile trip out, 3.4 miles, is not a huge trip, but for a less than 3-year-old, that's a big trip. Grace did really great walking back out today, walked a lot more than yesterday. And so overall, this was an awesome time. It was our first time backpacking as a family. Tested some new gear, had a really, really nice time in the Ocala National Forest. I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for some more content, hopefully, from down here in Florida. And until next time, remember to get off YouTube and get outdoors into God's great creation.